Good morning to all of you. It's good to be back with you. I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I took a vacation to Virginia Beach to see my son, did a little fishing with him in his new boat, and enjoyed ourselves immensely. It's always good to see family. I wanted to talk this morning about the Good Samaritan. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but behind me by my monitor, there's several boxes, and they're from an organization called Samaritan's Purse that Franklin Graham directs, and it's a great organization. We try to participate in it and bring a little cheer and the good news of Jesus Christ to kids around the world. If you don't know about it, I suggest that you investigate it. It's a great way to help kids and to lead them into the direction of Jesus Christ. There's a gospel track in each one, and it reaches a lot of kids. So the Samaritan and the Good Samaritan and the story of the Good Samaritan, we call it a parable, which was a story that Jesus used to illustrate a point. We don't want to get too detailed in parables because you can get overwhelmed with the concept of them, but you want to understand the basic meaning of it. And so we start out in Luke chapter 10, verse 25. It says, "One day, an expert in religious law stood up to test Jesus by asking him this question." Now remember, he's testing Jesus. "Teacher, what should I do to inherit eternal life?" And Jesus replied, "What does the law of Moses say? How do you read it?" The man answered, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "Right," Jesus told him. "Do this and you will live." The man wanted to, and this is an important phrase, wanted to justify his actions. So he asked Jesus, "And who's my neighbor?" You see, he was questioning or testing Jesus, as they always did. The rabbis and the Sadducees, the Pharisees, were testing him to see if they could find fault with him. And so he wanted to justify his actions, and the Greek word there actually means to declare righteous. He wanted to look good before God. If he would have been honest with Jesus, he would have said, "Lord, man, I try to love God with all my heart and soul, but I fall short. I do things that are wrong, and I don't accomplish the things that I want to, and I don't understand it, and I need help." But he wasn't in that position. He was testing Jesus. He wanted to justify himself. So Jesus tells him this parable or story. Jesus replied with a story. A Jewish man was traveling on a trip from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him up, and left him half dead beside the road. By chance, a priest came along, and he's the first character in the story. But when he saw the men lying there, he crossed to the other side of the road and passed him by. A temple assistant walked over and looked at him lying there, but he also passed by on the other side. Then a despised Samaritan, kind of a half-breed, came along, and when he saw the man, he felt compassion for him. Going over to him, the Samaritan soothed his wounds with olive oil and wine and bandaged them. Then he put the man on his own donkey and took him to an inn where he took care of him. The next day, he handed the innkeeper 2 silver coins, telling him, "Take care of this man. If this bill runs higher than this, I'll pay you the next time I'm here." Now, which of these 3 would you say was a neighbor to the man who was attacked by bandits? Jesus asked. The man replied, "The one who showed him mercy." Then Jesus said, "Yes, now go and do the same." Jesus was trying to point out to the man that, boy, we can't work hard enough to inherit eternal life because we're going to fall short. But he would give his life for us so that we could have eternal life. And he constantly and repetitively used stories to point this out. I'm going to repeat something that J. Vernon McGee said, but he's quoting a person called Dean Brown of Yale University. And Dean Brown said there were 3 classes of men that represent 3 philosophies of life and are brought before us in this parable. First of all is the thief. His philosophy of life says, "What you have is mine." This is socialism or communism. Secondly, the priest and the Levite. His philosophy of life says, "What I have is mine." This is a rugged individualism that has gone to seed. His cry is, "Let the world be damned, I will get mine." This is a godless capitalism. Thirdly is the Good Samaritan. His philosophy says, what I have belongs to you. This is a Christian philosophy of life. What I have is yours if I can help you. Folk who talk about Christian socialism don't recognize there are 2 distinct philosophies. And so Jesus was bringing out this point that we as Christians have an obligation to care for others and show compassion to them. Now, we can't always meet all of their needs, but there are times and places when we can be a good example and lead people to Jesus Christ. I constantly refer to this as barbecuing first. We have neighbor, we have friends, we have people that are in need around us that work with us who are in serious conditions. And if we illustrate the love of Christ through something we do, it may not be as acute as bandaging wounds, but maybe just sharing a little bit of ourselves and giving what we have to them, we can lead people in the direction of Jesus Christ. And unfortunately, I think we as the evangelical church have fallen short here. We're forgetting about that. We're forgetting to do those things. We are encompassed about things of our own life and our own nurturing, and we forget about those that are around us. As a matter of fact, who led you to Jesus Christ? Somebody pointed you to the way. I have a very good friend named Phil Engelman who pointed me in the direction of Jesus Christ by his life, by his words, by his actions, and I appreciated that immensely. So think about that if you would. Think about someone that you might have a positive influence with, just like the Good Samaritan. Thank you, and I hope you have a good day.